Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another God experience, but maybe this one, and it's capital G, capital O, capital D experience, which represents gateways of destiny, gateways of our destiny. All of these Siddhic frequencies are part of the human's person's, the human body, the human person's, everybody's destiny. However, this week we are in greed, aspiration, and ascension. So the Siddhic process, it's not really a Siddhic frequency, but it is a spiritual process that we're talking about. So not much to talk about. What do I want to say? The only I do know this gene key very well. I know all aspects of it from greed to ascension. Um, and the only comment I want to make is that the one brilliant thing that Richard said in there that sticks with me all the time is that greed is aspiration without trust. I mean, ooh, boy, do I know that. And I did want to say, I think I'm getting some new subscribers, which thank you very much. Welcome. And a lot more views on these gene keys or these God experience videos. So I'm thinking there are Gene Keys people that are tuning in. So if there are, welcome, and I'll just try to explain to you what I'm doing or what I've done. I have taken the Hebrew letters that are part, I've also studied the soul contract system, but I've expanded that system and my own meaning or inspired meaning of these Hebrew letters. And based on the amino acids that are attached to the Hebrew letters, I have correlated them to the codon rings, which means correlated them to the gene keys, particular gene keys. So what I'm doing in these videos is reading the Hebrew letters that are behind these Siddhic frequencies. And these Hebrew letters are like the mother, the holders of these codon rings. So they're kind of like the higher archetypal frequencies that hold these rings and keys together. So that's what I'm doing. So here we are with Ascension, which is a process, not a frequency. Let me see, what else do I want to say? And yeah, let's just look at the energies behind the numbers. Yeah, share screen, getting there. Okay, so the foundation of the word ascension, or this process of ascension, is the number 16. And it's the 16 is about grounding spirit into the earth plane, but it's also, and I wish the little symbol here had the arrows going upwards as well, because it is a grounding and an ascending process that the 16 represents. So the 16 represents grounding spirit through the earth plane. And it's about, in order to ascend, we definitely have to get onto the spiritual journey. And we have to begin applying our spiritual lessons to everyday life. And we begin opening the lower brow chakra. And so the 16 in Hebrew is called Ayin, and it represents the eye, beginning to see life through different eyes, the single eye, which of course we know is, the third eye, or the lower aspect of the third eye, where we begin seeing humanity and everything that we're all part of. This, in order to ascend, we have to get fully grounded into life. We cannot ascend by wanting to ascend, by wanting to get away from our earthly life. So the 16 says, no, we have to really ground. We have to ground spiritual principles into our life, into our body, begin the meditation process, begin the opening of the third eye, third eye, at least the brow chakra, the lower brow chakra, and begin wanting to see your life in a different way. We want to stop feeling like there is no meaning to life, that all there is suffering. We want to begin to recognize that, yeah, life does have meaning, and there is a God, right? And then what happens is as we ground these spiritual practices and perhaps begin the meditation process and our lower brow chakra opens, what happens is Kundalini. And Richard talks very briefly about Kundalini, but we cannot have ascension without a released and awakened Kundalini. And the grounding of these spiritual principles, my cat is choking in the background. You okay there? The grounding of these spiritual principles and practices in our daily life then will eventually awaken and release Kundalini into our body, which is the ascension process. As Kundalini arises into your body, she then awakens the higher brow chakra, which really it illuminates the true self within your being, awakens your consciousness. There's like this full expansion. And then you can truly begin to see humanity for what it is, see Earth, the Earth plane for what it is. It's you, right? That there is no separation. But in the process of Kundalini, Richard talks about in the 54th city, that it's like liquid fire. And while in the beginning, it's grounding spirit into the earth plane, grounding spirit into matter. Once Kundalini is released and she begins working on your subtle bodies and your physical body, it is now the process of matter into spirit, because that Kundalini fire comes along into your physical, well, it begins in the subtle body and it begins burning away the subtle body, which then in turn starts the transformational process in your physical body. The molecules even change, they change frequency. And this is what Richard talks about, the liquid fire. And the 16 is the holder of the ring of fire, which ultimately leads to beauty and bounteousness. And this is what the Hebrew letters represent. So we have the foundation of ascension is we have to be obviously on the spiritual journey. We do our little practices. We practice spiritual in everyday life. Hopefully, the foundation of ascension, that has to be a Kundalini process, because she has to start burning away all separation apparatuses and systems in our body, our subtle bodies, including the soul. It all has to be burned away, our causal body. And the ability, what happens, the result, it gives us the ability to be grounded, totally embodied in physical form, and yet light is shining through us. So the light body has landed into physical form. And yeah, the success and hope, I'm working on that. Kundalini has reached a completion point, but she's still working on me. And I can tell you that burning fire is absolutely real, absolutely real. And the success of all of this is now the Hebrew number 4, which is basically about beauty and bounteousness, trusting in the prosperity of life, the beauty of life, radiating your luminous consciousness out into the world, trusting life. So trusting that all prosperity is for your available to you. Okay, so that's the ascension process. Yeah. And so let's ground the spiritual practices. Try not to feel like, oh man, I just want to get the heck out of here. I want to Kundalini has to be released, but it's not something you can force. I do not recommend trying to make Kundalini happen. She will happen once. You see, the 16, the foundation of number 16 is the 7. And so Kundalini will release and awaken. Well, she's always awake. If you have consciousness, she is awake, but she's a little sleepy and she's trapped in the base chakra. So in order for her to truly want to release from her dungeon, her prison down there in the base chakra, your heart has to be involved. Your heart has to be sincere about It doesn't matter if you have a wounded heart, but it has to be sincere about this, the spiritual seeking. You could be on a spiritual path, but you may be in the spiritual realm, but you may be thinking, oh, I'm doing this. I want to create a better me. I want to be a happier person. I want to be able to manifest those things. I want to have a business. But those are beautiful things. And you want to help people. Those are beautiful things. But sometimes Kundalini says, no, those are more material wants. Those are more ego wants. We want your heart to want to return to God, and not in a get me out of here kind of way, but in a I have to awaken my consciousness so that I can see life clearly. I want to know absolute reality, and I want to be able to see my life here and every human being correctly, rather than my enemy or somebody not part of me. So it really involves the true seeking, what this codon ring of seeking that the 54 is in. What's seeking? Who is the one seeking? Is it still the personality, the character, the ego that is looking for confirmation, looking to create a happier, healthier, happier life, or more prosperous life? Or is your heart being called by something deeper? Like, yeah, I want to awaken. I want enlightenment. I want liberation. I want freedom from suffering. That is the seeking that Kundalini is looking for, and that is necessary for ascension, and that you're willing to do anything and everything to clear yourself of all the crud and the separation programs. Okay, until next time.